Hello, welcome back to the Snipe Museum of Art. My name is Joe Becker and I'm honored to serve as the director of the museum. I'm also charged with keeping an eye on the collection of modern and contemporary art. And that's where we are today, in the galleries that deal with modern and contemporary art. Behind me is one of the most iconic pieces of our permanent collection. It's a masterpiece by the American painter Grace Hartigan, and it's called The King is Dead. So, what's in a title? Well, many people gravitate towards a title, especially when they're dealing with modern contemporary art, because they're questioning, what is it that I'm looking at? What's going on? What kind of message is the artist intending to send? So I thought maybe we'd spend just a few minutes talking about this piece and hopefully help you understand why it's so significant. Grace Hartigan is a representative of abstract expressionism. Some people see it as one of the first homegrown art movements native to the United States, sometimes also known as gestural abstraction. There's no intended imagery that we're supposed to see. There are no figures that we're supposed to see. It's about brushstroke and color and the application of paint, and I would even say it's about energy. This piece has several pieces of information which we supply to the viewer. The little label over at the right-hand side helps with that. Gives you the title, gives you the date, which is 1950, reminds you that it's by Grace Hartigan, and that she's an American, and it tells you that we were able to acquire the piece in 1995. So what's in a title? The King is Dead. Well, this is a very important moment in the history of the artist's career, but it's also a very important moment in the history of American painting. 1950 saw really a kind of apex in the movement which was known as abstract expressionism. You might be familiar with artists like Jackson Pollock and Willem de Kooning, but there were several other artists and a few women, Grace among them, that played a very important, maybe even we should say, pivotal role. 1949 was very important because it's when Jackson Pollock and his style of abstract expressionism was introduced to Main Street America through magazine articles and newspapers and stories and the like. Grace seized on this moment. She understood that the American landscape in terms of the avant-garde for painting was changing. It was a change that was threatening some of the old standbys and some of the iconic painters of the past, namely Pablo Picasso, the king. At this point in time, Picasso was still seen as the most revered person in the whole of the art world. He still had many decades left of work to do, but things were beginning to shift. Some might even say that the baton was about ready to be passed. Grace knew this. She saw the work of Pollock. She was inspired by the work of Pollock, but she also saw the kind of publicity that Pollock was receiving and the way in which he was starting to redefine the art world. This work in some ways is very much in Grace's own style, but it pays homage to Pollock and his all-over style of paint and energy and enthusiasm and gesture. But it also points to the fact that Pollock and abstract expressionism were overtaking Picasso, the king. The king is dead. And it's not just that it was about Pollock and the abstract expressionists, but it was about America in general surpassing the Europeans as the center of the avant-garde. This painting dates to 1950, as I mentioned. The King is Dead signaled an idea that the torch had passed, as it would be said later on, to a new generation. Grace showed this piece in 1951, her first commercial exhibition, in which only one painting was sold for $50. But the owner's mother made her return that piece, and she kept The King is Dead in her own living room for many years. We acquired it, as I said, in 1995, and it's been an icon for the museum ever since. So what's in a title? Well, a title is about time, it's about art history, and it's about the change from one generation to the next. Enjoy the piece, and we hope to welcome you back to the museum again soon.